Hello, everybody, and welcome to Problem Solve Her podcast. I'm your girl, Chloe, along with my girl,
Dagmar.
Jackie's in the house. Chloe's in the house. It's Friday. Everyone's in the house. Hi, Daggy. I love our topic today. It's good for you and I to discuss. It's very good. I love it. What are we doing today?
How to deal with arguments.
Arguments. By the way, it's good. I didn't even say anything about us. I just got right into it. We are a fun, loving, safe space to share your experiences and your stories on our podcast. We haven't had anyone on in a little while, but the fall is coming and we will have on some really cool independent women that are doing their thing and are going to share their expertise. And we just love to showcase men and women that have a lot of experience and advice and knowledge they want to share. Because Dagmar and I have a lot of experience in life. We're not going to give our combined ages between the two of us because we're not going to go there. But think of it like this. We have a lot of experience. Don't we, Daggy?
Yeah. I had a number in mind, but I don't say it.
No, we don't do that here. I'm not at the place where you are yet, where I'm okay with my age. Just allow me. Give me a little time. So what are we doing today?
How to deal with arguments. It's an important topic. From a perspective, most people are online. They're not meeting physical anymore. And then from years and years and years, perhaps centuries ago, where it was more community thinking, now it's more individual, right? And then it's less about what's the best for everybody compared what's the best for me. And I think that's all influences how to deal with arguments in our age now or in our times now.
That's an interesting point. I think that especially in certain communities like you just brought up, and we've spoken about this on here before, especially communities that have some of the longest lifespans, like the Italians and the Japanese, everything is a community setting. So everyone discusses things together and in groups. They live with each other. A lot of the parents go and live with their children and the grandchildren when they get to a certain age. So there's probably more of pooling and community thinking together in terms of arguments and debates and settling an argument, as we would say. And I would love to get better at knowing how to deal with an argument. Sometimes I'm really good and sometimes I pop off and I think about it afterwards and I go back in my head and say, oh, in retrospect. And I think a lot of us do that. We don't think before we actually speak and we're in the moment and we come with a lot of emotion. And I think it also has to do with what's going on in your life, what time you woke up that morning and have you eaten yet? And, was something else already irritating you? My uncle used to say a phrase. He was an incredible life coach for multiple decades working with large corporations. And I loved his business model. And he would go in and there would be chaos in these organizations, these multi-million-dollar organizations. And he would say to the CEOs and the VPs, what's the core issues here? And everyone would speak at once. He'd go in and they would be in the conference room and like 30 people would be screaming. And so he would always say, we're never angry for the reasons we think we are. Never. It's always something else behind that. So I think that's part of the problem when people get into arguments. It might not even be directed at you. You might just be kind of in the crossfire of that person's day or something else that's going on. Or maybe it's underlying issues you're having with someone that you don't want to bring up and you just wait for it to explode.
Yes, without a question why we start arguments. In the point how to deal with arguments, what I realized about myself as I was a child, it really affected me how my parents dealt with an argument. My father was screaming and my mom was crying. And I realized that later, as a teenager and young adult, I had the tendency to go one or the other direction because that what was totally normal for me. And then later on, I realized there was something underlining in an argument, and it came from my parents that they never got divorced. They were married until they died. But every argument they had, they amplified, this is the end. So it really affected me that every argument I was in, I was scared I would lose somebody. And from that perspective, you make your decisions totally different, right? But also the fear that every time when you have an argument, this is the end of this relationship. So you, on the other side, try to hold on to relationships because you think if something happens, they will die off immediately. And that gives you a lot of pressure, right? And if you are a person, you're not scared of having an argument, but you're scared of the consequences, that's just makes it very confusing. Now I'm in a position because I worked on myself a lot and I listened a lot to experts and what others experience, that an argument is an opportunity to learn and to grow and to become better. And also an opportunity to decide, do you want this relationship? Is this relationship good for you? How does your nervous system react to this relationship? Is it fight, flight, and freeze? Or can you find peace and love and a common understanding when you have an argument? And I'm grateful that I am in this state of mind today because all these years it was so stressful and such an uncertainty to feel every argument is the end of the friendship, this is the end of the partnership, this is the end of your job, right? So it was very intimidating. And so now looking back, I did not realize how much my childhood influenced me, how I would deal with things like that in my personal life and friendships or in my partnerships or in business. And changing that requires changing your mindset and letting go of the belief, I always did this my whole life in this way, and this is who I am, to the belief I can create myself. I can create the person I want to be. And today I'm the person I want to be.
That's beautiful. Something just came up for me when you said that. I think that a lot of us, I have some friends and family members and people I know, they want to avoid conflict so much because they hate arguments. They'd rather lose a friendship. They're like so scared to get into it. They'll brush it under the rug. They'll run as far away as they can because the fear of, confrontation and getting into arguments. I have a friend who's a psychologist, and she said to me that couples that never fight don't really know each other. And I agree with that because you need some type of healthy arguments to really understand who the person is that you're with. If every day you're just walking through life and you're on clouds and everything's easy breezy, you're not challenging each other. Healthy arguments are definitely part of life. It's the way that we handle them. I don't know if you remember this, but I told you several times in the podcast that in my friend group of everybody growing up, there was one girl that I'm not necessarily friends with anymore. And we haven't spoken in almost a decade. And one of the reasons is her fear of conflict and not addressing certain things that she did, knowing that she was wrong and not, you know, being, I want to say the words correctly here, more of her fearing potentially that if we were to speak, that it would end in rejection for her. And knowing that she was the one in the wrong, she just avoided it for all that time. We'd only seen each other maybe 3 times over the last decade with the friend group. And over this past weekend, when I went out east to Long Island, she was there for this big birthday celebration for my best friend. And we were all stayed together for the weekend. And I had not seen her in years. And at first it was like, should I go? And well, she's going. And why should I not go? And, other friends were like, maybe you guys should speak beforehand. And I was like, it will happen organically. I'm at a place now where I don't need to argue. I don't want to fight. Let's put it behind us. So the first night was my friend's son's high school graduation party. And I saw her walking in. And I had seen her in February, by the way, also, but we didn't speak. That was at another party. Just wasn't the right time and the energy wasn't right. So she came right up to me. She's like, hi, buddy, can we talk? And I said, we're good. Let's have a great weekend. Why rehash the past? And she was like, what? She felt so happy that I said that in that moment. So then we hugged and over the weekend, she had brought it up to me very briefly. And I said, we don't have to get into the whole thing now. Too much time has passed. Let's move forward. And she's like, I was wrong. I want to tell you I was wrong. And I've gone to therapy for this. And I transferred anger onto you about something that you did not do to me. And I want to apologize to you for that. And I said, thank you. And I appreciate that. And we left it there and everything was fine for the rest of the weekend. I could have gone into a battle for hours. You never called me. I was your best friend. I was so good to you. Da, 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 which a lot of people would have done. I did this for you. And there was no reason for it. It was, let's move past this point and let's see where our friendship could potentially go in the future. And it ended up being a great weekend and everyone got along well.
What I figured out for myself, there are two things. One thing is, did I start the argument or did another person start the argument? If the other person start the argument, it's totally easy for me because I can take myself emotionally out of it. I can become neutral. I can listen to them, hear them, and understand them. And normally that goes quick. If I'm emotionally in it, that's the challenge. So when you and I argue, what really is beautiful for me, you always say, but we'll figure it out together. And that takes away the fear of this is the end, right? Because the goal is we'll figure it out together. If it's important to me, I explain to you why it's important to me and we figure it out. So that's beautiful. So I had an argument with somebody. They did something I didn't agree with and I was involved with it. But they didn't tell me. I heard it from another person. So I told them, and their response was, oh, it's a misunderstanding. And it's not a misunderstanding. This and this and this, these are the facts. These are the actions, what took place. And then the response was, yeah, I just called for this. I need to move on. And I'm okay. But I was still in it, right? So the next few times was the same thing. She called me, just said what she wanted to say, and I want to talk about it. Yeah, I don't have time. I don't feel good, blah, blah. So yesterday I thought I want to get this out of my world. I don't like stuff like this. So I called her and it was a very interesting experience for me. And the person is older. So that's another thing. If the person is younger, then the approach is more life growth. What can we learn? But if the person is old, like older, that's how they are. I mean,
They're set in their ways. They're not changing now.
the chance that somebody is changing. So I was hurt and this happened and I don't appreciate it, how it happened. And again, the response was, it's a miscommunication and blah, blah. And it's not a miscommunication. I don't appreciate that response. I would have appreciated that response, but I understand it's not possible. So then the response from the other person, if that would have happened 20, 30 years ago, I would be just done, like done. She said to me, yeah, you were so upset last few times when we talked. I was ready emotionally to just shut down and just let it go. And I centered myself, hold back my first response. And I said, I love you and I want to have you in my life. And I understand that what I wish how our relationship could be won't ever be like this. So I will work on myself to just have a shallow relationship that we just chitty chat about the weather or what the neighbors do and how your relatives do. And we can stay connected. And I won't expect anymore that we really can talk together. On the other side, just want to let you know that means we cannot really have like any deeper conversation where you or I could be affected because I don't want to go through this again where there is no result. There is no resolution, right? I don't want to have this ongoing. And the response was, that's fine. That's great. And I don't think the other person understood what it means to me. But for me, it's chitty-chatty. I mean, it's something I can do with anybody I'm emotionally not connected to. But on the other hand, I want this person in my life. I don't want to let her go. And if this is the level of commitment I can have her in my life, I'm good now with it. 20 years ago, I wouldn't want to have this person in my life. I only want this or the other. So now I'm okay, goody. There will be another person in my life who can go deep with me, and that's okay.
That's the process of getting to a place in your life where you know the kind of energy you want around you and the vibes. And I'm like you, I don't have service relationships. I'm not here for the weather report. Yes, of course, there's people we know that when we run into them, we have these light conversations with. But if it's someone that I'm emotionally connected with and someone I really care about, I need to have those deep conversations with you. And you need to hear me and I need to hear you. And if we're not on the same page anymore and we're not vibing, that's cool. And that's just part of life. And I really truly believe in the phrase that it's not this whole the quantity of people around you, it's the quality. I don't need 50 friends. I'd rather have 10 really close ones. And I do know a lot of people in different places, but the ones that I'm constantly in contact with and the ones I trust and go to advice for, like yourself and my parents and literally my best friends for say 30 years, those are the people I know I can trust and that I'm not scared to have an argument with or to bring up something with and that we can do that and that we know that it's not going to impact the friendship or the relationship. And that's part of my takeaway is that when it comes to arguments, don't be afraid to share your emotions and your thoughts. And if it's people that you love and you care about, then they should hear you and listen and give feedback.
My takeaway is when you deal with arguments, stop yourself, ground yourself, take your emotions out, go into the eagle eye perspective, define the goal you want to have with this argument. What is the result you're looking for? And stay calm and loving during the argument. And if you have the feeling you cannot talk about it anymore, just let the other person know you need a break and you will come back to them and come back to them.
Circle back.
Circle back.
I love that. And I try to do that now with my parents and my brother as a new thing because we're a family that grew up where, communicate, speak, share your mind, share your feelings. And I'll say, I'm going to walk away right now. I'm not jeopardizing my peace in this moment just because I can't physically take it on and mentally. And when people respect that, then you can circle back. There's nothing like getting a good night's sleep when you're in an argument and you wake up with a fresh mind and a new perspective. And you're able to play back everything in your mind and know that you can come to a resolution. So we hear you, we see you, we love you. Please follow us, The Chutzpah Girl on TikTok, Problem Solve Her on IG, No EN Solve, our website, problemsolveher.com, and YouTube. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Thank
Love you,
you.
Daggy. Love you.
Just a quick note before we end. This conversation is for inspiration and empowerment only. It's not medical, mental health, or legal advice. We are not doctors, therapists, or lawyers. Just women sharing real stories and personal truth. Always seek professional guidance for your unique situation.